And our top focus story on the broadcast, the India-Pakistan bilateral cricket series may not happen in December 2015. Sources in the Ministry of External Affairs have confirmed to India today that clearance to the series is unlikely. The cricketing series will not resume between India and Pakistan in Sri Lanka from the 15th of December. Now, all eyes were on the Ministry of External Affairs, on External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, after Pakistan gave the green signal for the series with Sri Lanka the expected venue. Diplomats have suggested the BCCI essentially put the ball in government's court so that it becomes a political call and they are not held accountable to their ICC commitment. The BCCI, remember, had signed a memorandum of understanding with Pakistan's cricket board to play a series with them, several series in fact till 2023. But government of India was to take a final call given Pakistan's continued terror in India. Now it appears the BCCI will not have to pay a compensation for not honouring that MOU because it's the government that is expected to take a call. India Today Group's consulting editor Boria Majumdar now joins me on the broadcast. Boria, the BCCI had all but announced the series from the 15th of December. Rajiv Shukla, the IPL commissioner, was almost certain it would start, of course, pending clearance from the government. But what are your BCCI sources telling you now?
Exactly what you and I had said 2 days back, Gaurav, that Rajiv Shukla at that point in time was not echoing the BCCI sentiments. In fact, if you remember, on a broadcast that we had done together, I said that that is not what I'm getting from the president, that is not what I'm getting from the BCCI. The BCCI was very clearly putting it in the government's court, and today they are very, very clear that if this series doesn't happen because of government permission, they have no problems because their position is safeguarded. They will not pay a single dime of penalty to Pakistan because it's a political call. According to the ICC FTP, they will not be penalized. So in no circumstance that the BCCI will have to do anything that they don't want to do, which is why they have put it on the government. This decision is fine with them. At that point in time also I had said this, that the BCCI top brass was not confirming the series like Rajiv had done, and they were very clearly waiting for the government. In fact, this suits them, that India will not have to play Pakistan in a truncated series. They will not be unhappy at all.
Okay, stay with me, Boria. I also want to bring in Smita Sharma, my colleague who covers the Ministry of External Affairs, for more on this. Smita, is this decision now final? Has it been communicated to the ministry by the Ministry of External Affairs to the BCCI?
Not so far, Gaurav, but it's a confirmation for sure, because I have spoken to multiple sources in the Ministry of External Affairs and also to some of the voices inside the the Prime Minister's office, and all of them confirming that clearly, at least, because remember the BCCI was saying that they could start playing cricket with Pakistan as early as 15th of December. But what is clear is that there is going to be no resumption of cricketing ties with Pakistan as far as the immediate foreseeable future is concerned. Going down the path another 2-3 months, if something substantive changes, there's some substantive gesture from Pakistan's side, then perhaps one could think of a change scenario. But at the moment, clearly there is going to be no cricketing resumption in Sri Lanka, and it was not really about Rajiv Shukla jumping the gun. It was perhaps about the BCCI playing a nice move.
Okay, stay with me for a moment. I also want to bring in Radhika Tongar. Radhika, the Indian cricket team, the board, had they all but decided what the playing 11 would be, what would be the team that would go to Sri Lanka? Was the BCCI thinking perhaps that government clearance was only a formality, Radhika?
No, Gaurav, as far as the BCCI is concerned, they had very clearly said that from our side, we've put up a proposal, but it depends on the government. As long as we don't get a clearance from the government, the series is not on. They had asked for government's permission, but they had spoken to the PCB. They had told the PCB, they had had discussions and they had finalized on a venue.
Radhika, stay with me for a moment. I want to bring in BJP MP Kirti Azad for more on this. Kirti Azad, of course, had opposed any such series. Kirti Azad, your take on what sources are telling Boria Majumdar and Smita Sharma, government clearance unlikely for India-Pakistan series. What's the thinking within the BJP, sir?
I don't know within the BJP. When I speak about such events, I always speak as an Indian rather than a politician or a sportsman, anybody. I feel that it's after all innocent people are losing their lives. The Jawans are getting beheaded on the border. There's unrest because of these people. So I've always believed, and there's a big chunk of people who accept the fact that talks and terror can't go together.
Sir, but a final decision is still awaited. Is it possible that the series could still happen if there is a window, I think from 15th of December, Boria can correct me if I'm wrong, a window between 15th of December and early January?
I have no idea, and as far as I'm concerned, I simply feel terror and talks can't be together. Nothing has changed since 26/11. We have had just now terrorist attacks in Kupwara. Then also I read in the newspapers yesterday saying that 30 terrorists are being sent by ISI and 3 terrorist groups into India to create absolute havoc.
Yes.
So these things are there, and at that time, obviously, reasoning, talking gets drowned in the sound of terrorist activity.
Spot on, sir. Stay with me for a moment. Smita, what are indications? What is it that Government of India expects of Pakistan before cricketing ties can resume?
You know, as far as the political dialogue goes, Gaurav, remember, that is completely derailed. Now, India has been wanting Pakistan to stick to the UFA statement, focus on terrorism. But we saw that the 2 NSA-level talks, in fact, got cancelled off also because of those preconditions where Pakistan did want to come across to India, come to Delhi, meet, engage with those Hurriyat separatist leaders, and also, you know, bring around Kashmir as far as the talks agenda is concerned. Nawaz Sharif met David Cameron in Malta just, day before yesterday, and there he suggested that he's ready for talks with India without any precondition, which is once again a status quo position. So what the government believes that, yes, while India and Pakistan have been engaging at various levels, there are Pakistani citizens who have been coming into India, there are visas that are being given to them, there are other forms of game that does, get played between the two sides. But cricket is something that is, on a much larger scale, that is much more emotional, and that can actually cause a lot of passion between the two sides, which is why they don't want to be seen as engaging. And if anything, Gaurav, in fact, Delhi police sources seem to be suggesting that some members of the Pakistan High Commission could be under the scanner for an espionage racket which has just been busted. And there will be, in fact, some announcements to the effect in today in the hours to come. So if anything, we will only see much more bitterness in terms of the exchange of words in the days to come instead of the two sides playing cricket.
Mani pa ma ga ni pa ma ga sa ni pa ma ni sa pa sa jahan tak yaad aati rahegi